bought me some flowers.
Oh, she romanced you.
She romanced me.
Got it.
Is it weird to you? I mean, I'm still kind of trying to get comfortable with it.
Did she hold the door for you?
Yo, no, we're not.
I could see a pedicure.
Would you?
Depends on his feet.
That could be Mara's feet, and you could do it.
No way, you about to be cutting up my hands.
Yo, what's going on? This is
the Tim and Tam Talks. All right, look, bring it home. Let's get into this.
We're gonna have a lot of great conversations.
What's up, y'all? My name is Tam, and you guys are tuned in to Tim and Tam Talks podcast. Again, it's your girl, Tam.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Tim Nicholas. Thank you guys for joining Tim and Tam Talks tonight for a great conversation on pop culture, all things shade room, all the things that we see online. So we're going to just dive right in. So what's good, Tam?
How are you, my friend? How was Tuesday?
Tuesday was long.
How was Tuesday for you?
Tuesday's been super long, but hey, I'm good. Ready to do this thing. So what's good?
Cool. So we got a lot of topics to talk about today. So if you guys are staring at the screen, one of the topics that we're going to talk about today is why is it hard to date? I think this is one of your topics, Tim. So I'm ready to talk about this one. And I think we actually have a video that coincides with this topic. So let's actually get into what I believe it's Pastor PJ, what he said about why it's hard to date.
Being single, as you grow and develop, you realize it's an immature thing to say what doesn't exist in the dating pool based on your own negative experiences. To make absolute statements like there are no good men or women and everybody cheats and marriage doesn't work is both delusional and arrogant. Most statements like that focus on the negative frustrations with relationships are birthed out of individual experiences. But it is realistic to acknowledge that it's more challenging now to find people that are faithful, committed, have virtuous character. And three things I have discovered are very difficult to find on today's dating scene is number one, a captivating conversation with healthy and respectful guidelines, a mature communicative exchange, because so many people are conversationally dominant, topically shallow, or they're overly demanding. I don't want this and I don't want that. Well, can we get some patience in the pace? Because I don't even know if I want you. Number two, is very difficult to find someone that has a genuine, untainted relationship with Jehovah God, because people are into everything now. They worship Jesus, but they worship the ancestors. They juggle rocks. They burn sage. They sacrifice kittens. They sing on the praise team, but they pay tithes to aliens. It's all over the place. And three, it is difficult to find those with genuine intent that want to build a relationship on the foundation of love, faith, honesty, trust, kindness. I'm not buying you a bag. I'm not paying your bills. I'm not taking you to Dubai to have a conversation with you. Like 50 Cent said, you think I'm a sucker, huh? However, even though it's challenging, I've learned that you can't base everything on your city, your experiences, social media, or else you will come to a toxic conclusion about the possibility of love. We have to accept that the world is bigger than our world and possibility is bigger than our experiences. If we only think bad, we won't attract good. Shows and food.
Hey, so he was spitting. Bars.
That's a mic drop right
so,
there.
Tim, since this is your topic, I'm gonna let you lead this time, Tim, and tell me like why'd you present this topic, and let's get into it.
Well, I thought it was a great topic because in the dating world, it's diluted by a lot of shallow people. It's more so about what's in it for me. That's a lot of what dating seems to be like in this day and age, is what's in it for me, and really not a lot of regard for genuine conversation. It's hard to find a person with genuine intent. And I think it's been like that for a long time because we remember the movies growing up, a good man is hard to find, or those different types of conversations. I think social media has magnified the shallowness in people's intent and who they are. I think that it's very difficult to find someone who really has your back, in addition to really understanding their own foundation. Like you said, like he said, Pastor YPJ is amazing. And one of the things that he was saying was that we are all over the place with what we believe. And part of that is because social media has so many different people, so many different things on what people believe. But honestly, we got to stay faith-based and use that faith base as an example of how we should live, as opposed to, like he said, you may pay tithes to the aliens, but you worshiping God. And so it can really get confusing if you don't have a solid foundation, and your foundation is built on quicksand based on today or the next moment or anything like that. Then it really makes it difficult to find someone who can be genuine, because you can't be genuine and authentic yourself. So I think dating is just really tough in this day and age. And I think we just need to do better with who we are first before we even step into the dating scene.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's so much, so many podcasts out here that go against the grain, that kind of indoctrinate thinking when it comes to dating in this society or this generation. And what I realize is that a lot of people have their perspective and perception off. And what I mean by that is that 9 times out of 10, people's perspective is based on their perception of their own reality. So they assume that what they've dealt with, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience in a relationship, is the sum of all. And we have too many people out here speaking to the sum of all based on their unique, dynamic experience. And, when we talk about dating as a whole, that's a very broad language. But a lot of people think because of what they've experienced locally, that's what's happening from a broader scale. So that's why, dating is definitely hard, because people assume my experience is your experience. And that's not always the case. And a lot of people are afraid because people are spouting those notions as if that's law. So when it comes to, this generation, I think we need to have a better mindset and really understanding what we're listening to, who we're listening to, and are they saying that from a perspective of their own experience, or have they actually done the research? Like, where are the statistical numbers coming from? What does that look like? But because it's too many people out here that don't have the data that line up, or they choose the data that lines up to their narrative, right? Mm-hmm. And then they only speak to one side. They speak to side A, but they don't speak to side B. So it's definitely hard to date, because people are, what word do I want to use? Many people are easily persuaded when they hear this stuff online, right? If somebody looks good online, if they got the suit on, they look nice, especially if they look like they have a little bit of money, a lot of people take whatever that looks like as law. Well, they must be saying the right thing because they have money. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, they're doing the same thing that we're doing, Tim. If I want to go put on what I put out, what you see on my Instagram page while I'm doing this live, and I feel like, well, they're going to take me more serious, and that's going to give me more weight into what I'm saying, then I could do that too. But people don't have the discernment. A lot of people are missing the discernment to unpack, is this something that I can use and apply to my real life dating experience? And when you're taking all of these notions from everybody and you're trying to apply it to your situation, oftentimes it's never going to fit, and it's going to put you in a hamster wheel when it comes to dating. So I would just urge people to really date with openness, date with a pure heart and pure intentions. And if you're speaking about what happened to you or your homeboy, you're not really doing a good service to your community, because we should be a community that's building. But right now we're just tearing each other down. So it's hard to do that while you're dating, when you're tearing each other down.
I agree, definitely. I want to add a little bit to that. Actually, on Sunday, I was doing a live podcast discussion for the Love Network. So shout out to the Love Network, definitely doing their thing. And so one of the gentlemen in the audience asked about like dating, or how to take a woman out on a date. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I know I shared was just something that you said just now, was date with intentionality. And that's pretty much it. That's one of the big things that you first want to do, is date with intentionality. If you're dating just to sleep with a woman from a man's point of view, or if you're just dating to sleep around or whatever, I mean, if that's what you want to do, let it be known up front. but also check your heart too, because why would you want to get into those situations? We grown now, and so it's easier to kind of weed out those people who just want to mess around and things like that. You can kind of tell a lot of times you can tell their intent, but of course we also know we can hide our intent behind some things as well, so it's difficult to know that too. But I would just say date with intentionality, be honest and authentic about who you are. And I think the faster we are authentic with who we are, it gives us a greater chance to finding not for us, whatever the case may be. So those are just some things that I would definitely say. But as far as this topic and all the other topics we have tonight, we definitely want to hear from you. So if you're able, go ahead and put in the chat any of your thoughts. If something we say you agree with or disagree with, hey, throw it in the chat. We definitely want to hear from y'all too. So just definitely want to make sure that it's always an interactive night, especially on these Tuesday pop culture things that we all see on social media. So
yeah, these conversations can get a little heavy. All right, let's jump into our next topic. So Bill de Blasio and his wife split, but they're staying in the same house together. But they're also opening the doors of the church.
a very good way to put it. Very good way to put it.
So I don't know enough of the backstory, but I did see this particular topic. You sent this topic, Tim, and I was just like, what the heck is happening? So I think we got a photo of them. It's like somewhere in the shuffle.
They look goofy. They look super goofy. That's for sure.
Hey, look, it's a cute couple.
It's a beautiful family.
They're nice little kids. Family. So they gonna do this to the kids?
Definitely.
Boy.
Hey, it's splitting. It sounds like, so they're gonna split. They still gonna have an open relationship, is what was shared. And so, as you guys know, Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, with his wife, they're gonna go ahead and go separate ways and things like that. But to still stay in the same house, number one, and then to have open relationships while you're in the house is a very different trend, I would say. I mean, it sounds very polygamous and polyandrous, in my opinion, which it seems like is kind of where the world is going to in a lot of cases these days. But at the end of the day, I think it's kind of crazy. I tell my wife all the time, and she, we both agreed to this. We not having no other spirits in our bedroom or in our house, and so I don't fully understand the thought process between still living in the house. If you guys are no longer compatible or no longer together, what kind of trend are you setting for your children who are looking behind you or looking at you, and they coming behind you, and you are doing something as crazy as that? So it just draws so much confusion. Another thing my wife kind of told me, I thought I had a bag when I first got with my wife. I kind of thought I did, but she put me on something that was very interesting and said, the more money you make, people kind of do some crazy things. And I guess I've been so oblivious to it, with, just being established financially as some, and everything. And I was oblivious to all of that. I was like, I didn't even know people would do crazy stuff like that. So I guess this is kind of like the norm for people that may have a lot of money. I don't know. That could be something too. But I do think it's kind of interesting that we are having that situation as well. So, but nonetheless, I think it's cool that they can at least be amicable in the situation, which I know me personally, I would be like, man, I'm out. I would be totally out. So, but yeah, we're going to keep it going because Tam is looking like she has some technical difficulties tonight.
Can you hear me? You can hear me, but you can't see me. I don't know what's happening. So, gosh.
It's all good. We're going to work the kinks out, sis. It's
God
all
bless
good.
the child. Look, I'm still here, y'all. Just call me Casper.
Well, so okay, well, you still there. So what's your thoughts on Mayor de Blasio and his lovely wife-ish?
If I'm being honest, when me and my ex we were splitting, we stayed in the same house together, and we did it for I wanted to do it for the kids, just because I felt like the kids were functioning a lot better when we were in the same house as one family unit. So if their hardest, I was like, I don't know how old their kids are. That's one thing. But if they are doing this for the sake of the kids, like we're gonna stick it out until the kids go to college or whatever that may look like, or if they're just simply, separating, but they don't know exactly if they truly want to separate, I think it's a great, phenomenal idea. But now, if you're opening legs and doors, okay, in the midst of this situation, I can't really say that's going to be beneficial to the family dynamic if you're leading with your own. What word do I want to say? That's PG. If you're leading with your own, what you want in mind, if it's just if it's for a family dynamic and you're going to separate, but you're like, I want to do what's best for the kids before I put my needs before them, then go ahead and do it. But if you're just doing it and you get a little kinky, look, I don't know if I could. First of all, I'm a little jealous, so I wouldn't even be. I was like, I don't even care if I was done with you. I still wouldn't want to witness it. I still wouldn't want to be around it. I'm too territorial to even allow that.
Me too. I just could not be in the same house with my wife, and we are at odds, about to split up, and I'm just going to just be around and just watch you date other men. Like, I just couldn't do it. I could, from that aspect, being that emotionally invested still. I know me personally, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That would break my heart, honestly. So that's why I'm like, man, I'm just willing by any means necessary. Let me just stick this out, because I know it's, especially with my wife, I'm like, man, I can't do it. So, so let us know your thoughts on that too. Would you be able to be with your significant other? Y'all split up, go your separate ways, and would you be able to be in the same household with them and still be able to allow them to have an open relationship? So I would be interested in knowing what y'all thoughts are on that, because me personally, I couldn't do it, but there's a lot more stronger people out there apparently that could do it. So that's just it. Think we getting Tam back. What's good, Tam?
Hey. I'm here. I never leave. I'm here. They just have me in incognito mode. I have no idea what's going on.
It's all good. Well, like I said, we're gonna definitely move on to the next topic. So what we got next, Tam? I know, what was this about? The masculinity, I think we talking about next, I believe. So
oh my goodness. That was the why Black men struggle with masculinity. And we actually have a video that this actually ties into. So as a backstory, I'm gonna let you guys know. So there was a panelist, all men, different races, and they're actually talking about like what masculinity means to them. And you will hear a variance on what the Black man says versus what this white guy is actually saying. And everybody was like, I agree with Cowboy Hat. Now, before I give you guys my opinion, let's actually like just jump into like what actually was said.
Not to bring race into it, but Black men, why are y'all always letting us down when y'all go on these panels? Like, why? Serious question. I wanted to play what the Black men had to say about what masculinity is versus what the cowboy hat wearing white man had to say about what masculinity is. Watch.
I'm a Black man from the hood. To me, being a man is knowing when to be soft.
Point number one is a man who walks with God. Point number two is a man who stands on principle. Point number three, which is a masculine man, is someone who is willing to sacrifice for point four, the people that he leads. A true man is a leader. And number five, a masculine man is never a coward.
That's a lot there.
Yeah. Male and female matters. God gives you one of those identities, you take on that role. And now you're responsible for fulfilling that role. There's a masculine crisis because men are not taking responsibilities for the God-given roles that they have in society. And so when you take away the need to say God made you this or God made you this. Now you don't have to take responsibility for not fulfilling what you were called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do. If I have a woman or a partner that wants to take on certain roles and I say, hey, those are my roles that God gave me in society, now I'm suppressing that person. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
What it means to be a man is to be a adult human male.
You have a black man and a white man. The black guy told you he was black and he was from the hood. So that's his intro into all of this we're talking about. The white guy speaking about God and principle.
Yikes. I'm sad y'all can't see my facial expression. Like, this is sick.
Oh man.
I'm upset.
He said, man, I'm from the hood, and you know, man, it's when to be soft. I want to hear from you, Tam, if you still on. Where you at? Like, I want to hear this from you.
Y'all see me click off. That's because I'm trying to get this video to where I need y'all to see my facial expressions with this conversation. Like, this is crazy to me.
You incognito tonight.
God, it's a real podcast. It's a real podcast tonight. So, all right. So let's get into it. So I was very much annoyed that my brother on this panel decided to bring his demographic into this conversation about masculinity and not who he was in terms of the characteristic of what masculinity means to him. His idea was, I come from the hood. How does I come from the hood apply to the conversation? I was really floored. And I'm going to tell you why I was floored. I was floored because oftentimes in this generation, as honestly, the last video said, when you remove God out of your identity, a lot of men don't really know who they are. And when they don't know who they are, they try to lean on a woman for their identity. And now you're having these warped gender roles, warped responsibilities, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows where we're headed. Y'all depending on one another to do the same exact thing, and that's ideally not what men and women are for. And I was like, I don't even want to get into the guy who was just like, yeah, it's I don't even know what he said, just gender. Like, I don't even want to get into that conversation because I feel like it's a can of worms. I'm not interested in getting boycotted at this moment. We're still building. So you
don't want cancel culture to hit you.
Look, I'm prepared. I'm ready for it if it happens. But I wholeheartedly disagree with that. And honestly, I agree with Cowboy Hat. Like, I agree that. And I don't like to tell men who to be. I hate it. But I hate when Black men do not know their identity. I hate it. I hate that you guys, when you don't know your identity and it's rooted in your experience. Oh, I grew up in the hood. Okay, but who are you now? Where are you going now? Like, it's okay to look back. We all look back, but where are you going? Where are you at today? Those types of things. And it only looked like the white guy, the one that brought up his faith, had an identity. And I hate to think that that's the only way that we can have it. But I believe that's the only way that we can have it. When we have an identity in Christ, we understand who we are and the purpose for which we were created. So I'm sorry, guys, for yelling.
No, that was yelling. Oh, no, you were passionate about that one. And so you know me. I think you know me well enough by now to know that I am I can be objective. I look at all angles. Okay. I think you know me well enough to know that. First of all, I agree fully with the cowboy wearing white man. I agree with him a lot because he pretty much laid out where like the definition of masculinity. And when it comes to men, we are conquerors. We are conquerors. That's our nature. That's in our blood to conquer the woman that we want, to conquer the family that we want. We are conquerors in all types of ways. And that's not taking away women being conquerors in their own right, but something about a man conquering his goals, his dreams, following after God, those types of things, right? We just conquer, and that's who we are. So our identity first should be in Christ, as he mentioned. I sympathize with this black man because while he grew up in the hood, let's look at black men as a whole, right? Black men as a whole, more times than not, are not living in a home with a black man who can show them what true masculinity is. And so someone like myself, who at some point struggled a little bit with masculinity, not completely, but because while I didn't grow up in a house with my father, I did have other men that were there who were masculine to show me the way. And so there is a disparity in the black community among black men where that's been taken away. And so now, when we talk about identity in Christ, if you already don't have a physical father into the house, most cases you're going to have that same black man who's not there. She goes, she's back. She is back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Look, I'm here now. Okay, go ahead.
All right, back. So, like I was saying, there's a disparity in the black community with black men being raised by black fathers. Am I right?
I agree.
Okay. So, because of that, it's tough for every man in the black community to actually see how to conduct themselves from a masculine standpoint. You might get a lot of that because you were raised by a single mother. And so you in touch with your feminine side, no matter if you from the hood or the burbs, it don't really matter. But if you was raised by that single mom, you're going to take on more characteristics of the feminine side more than the masculine side. If you're in the black community. Now, I'm not saying that you need to develop your masculinity, regardless of where you come from, what demographic you come from. Your identity should be rooted in Christ. But we also are coming from a survival aspect and not a thriving aspect, more so than our white counterparts. And shout out to them respectfully. They might have had their father around to show them, hey, you got to be tough. You got to be able to conquer. You have to take care of your family, all those types of things. So we do have to look at the racial demographic as well. I'm not excusing our brothers that have that disparity, have that deficit. I'm not excusing them. But what I am saying is that they're coming from a deficit. We got to teach them. We got, even as grown as they are, we got to teach them how to handle their emotions, how to keep their emotions in check, how to be conquerors, how to set goals, how to be consistent, how to take care of their families, how to truly be men. It's gotta be that kind of way. And so I just think that we got to look at it from every angle. But I'm not excusing us brothers, we got to do better. But we got to have more men taking the mantle and teaching other men, yo, that's soft, B. You can't be too soft out here because you got responsibilities, you got families, you got women looking after you, you got wives looking at you, you got your significant other. And we just had this conversation 2 weeks ago. We don't want women having to teach our young men, our boys and all those other things how to be men. We just don't. That's my thought on it.
Y'all see my facial expression now, so I had to give you that. I had to give it to you. Like, I don't know. Like, I could probably talk about this topic all night. Honestly, I just feel like it's such a deeply rooted topic. Like, I feel like it deserves a true conversation. It deserves a true conversation. Like, I just women as a whole, we want men to be leaders. We want men to know who they are. You want to lead us, but you don't know who you are? Like, make it make sense to me. Like, how do you want us to submit and you don't have a mission? What are we submitting to? What are we following after?
Say that one more time. Say that again.
What did I say?
You
I'm
just
saying like
said
you want women to submit, but you don't even have a mission for us to
you don't
submit
even have a
to.
mission. Yes, I fully agree. We cannot ask women to submit to us if we don't have a mission, if we're not in tune with our calling in life, if we don't have a purpose, if we don't have a direction. We cannot ask women to submit to us. So you shouldn't even be in a relationship in the first place. You got to develop your inner man. I fully agree with that. Like, I fully agree. That's why it is a very deeply rooted issue, because women have needed to take the mantle up so many times because we are not in tune with who we want to be. We just want to live for today. We want to make excuses for how we are, or how we were raised, or I ain't have a daddy around, or the white man is always taking this, taking that. You got to stop with these excuses. I fully agree with that. Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to get better. If you don't know how to get better as a man, listen, there is an app. There's so many apps on your phone that are motivating apps. You can find motivation apps that can teach you how to be a better man, teach you masculinity. If you don't have someone directly there to show you, there's so many other avenues. This is 2023. There's no longer an Audible. There's books, self-help books. There's no excuse to why you can't develop your inner man. I fully agree with that. It's just overall, we got to look at it from a systemic issue. We got to look at it from the root. It's so many deeply rooted issues behind this as far as men. So I fully agree with you. And I think it's just a matter of us coming together and showing more Black men how to be masculine. Because the one thing that I also say is that if you look on TV and social media and all these things when it comes to homosexuality, non-binary, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. They targeting a lot of these young black boys younger and younger and younger, which is already taken away. They already trying to strip their identity super fast. You got to understand this. It is a systemic thing going on. And you got to take your mantle up as being a masculine young man up and developing that man. Even as you're an adult, it's no excuse because they trying to get us, B. As Black men, they trying to get us. And that's real talk. So do what you got to do to develop that, because you got sons, nephews, young cousins. You got boys looking at you. You want them to follow a strong Black man, or do you want them to follow somebody who's a little wishy-washy, and then boom, we running into the same issues from an emotionally damaging place?
I agree. And it is not a woman's responsibility to teach a man how to be a man. It is just, it's not that. We just we want y'all to be a man, but we can't teach y'all to be that.
John Anthony, what's good, B?
Woo, heavy.
Very, very heavy. What's good, John Anthony? I'm gonna read your comment. I believe all men struggle because their foundation is built on sinking sand, regardless of which parent is in the home. The foundation starts with the parents. I fully agree with you, John Anthony. It does start with the parents, but you also have to take into account the fact that if you don't have a father into the home, it's going to be very different and very difficult for that young man to thrive unless he has some young men or some men in his life that's teaching him how to be a man. So it does start at home, but you can't expect you can't expect a woman to teach a man how to be a man. You can't expect it. A woman can teach a man how to treat a woman, but she cannot teach that man how to be a man. And so that's where, even in that situation, surrounding yourself with mentors and men that you see are strong and healthy Black men, because you don't want to just surround yourself around Black men just for the heck of it. You want to surround yourself around healthy Black men who you see that they're thriving emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. All those things need to come into play And so I do agree with you, but we also have to still look at the deficit that young boys have had to endure when a father is not present into the house. That plays a huge part.
Again, so deeply rooted. So deeply rooted, because I almost kind of want to argue that statement, Tim. I almost want to argue the statement, because I feel like through slavery, a lot of families were separated. And we've done more with less always. We've always done more with less within our community. But I feel like this generation uses that as excuse to continue to do less. And that's where I have pause. That's where I have issue with our men, because we have more opportunities now, but yet we're still doing less, and we're doing less at home. I don't really care about everything else, because it starts at home. And if the home is jacked up, our communities are jacked up. Mm-hmm. So I'm flabbergasted at how we've gotten here, because we've done more with less. That's where I just, like, as a woman, I have pause. And I look to men to give me a solid answer that doesn't say, well, my daddy wasn't home here, because that's been our story forever. That's been our story forever. So why does this generation, why haven't, as a whole, we progressed marriage numbers? Why as a whole, like, all of these things, our community we're still having gentrification in our community, and we know about it. It's not a secret. We know about these things, but yet we're still dealing with these things with more opportunities. That for me is just like where I have a lot of pause. I don't want to. I know we got to get to the next one. I want you to get on to me.
We're going to talk about this one. Like, we're going to use this as a topic on Monday nights and just dive into all of the systemic issues, but also, just like you said, there's no more excuses. It's go time. There's no more excuses. It really is time for men to take up the mantle. So we can stay on this one all night. I fully agree with you, and I understand your frustration on that topic for sure.
All right, we got one last topic to wrap it up. This one's kind of bougetto. So light-skinned Keisha, that's her name. Light-skinned Keisha and her man took to a podcast this week, and the topic of conversation or discussion was him telling her that if he cheated, that she would not leave. Now, that particular clip went viral, so a lot of people have said some very nasty comments to his name's Coca Vango. I don't know anything about him. Anyways, Coca Vango. So a lot of people said some nasty comments. I think we actually have that video as well. You guys let us know what you think about this whole situation.
We ain't gonna talk about it.
Go for what? No, let's talk about it. Put it out on the table.
You're not gonna leave me if I cheat on you.
You're stupid.
You're not leaving.
Stupid.
You're not leaving me if I cheat on
stupid.
you. You're not.
You're stupid.
You're not leaving.
You're crazy.
I've been with you so long.
Okay, try it. Try it. We'll see.
You're not leaving me if I cheat on you.
You're crazy. You want to cheat on me?
You're not leaving me.
Do you want to cheat on me?
I don't want to cheat on you, but you're not leaving me if I cheat on you.
You're crazy. And the thing about it is
I done spent too much money for you.
I don't give a that's your problem, because guess what? I'm not even going. Let me tell you something. You cheat, I'm not even finna be on no rah rah da da da. I'm gonna be so player. I'm gonna be so player about this. I swear, like, I'm not even gonna be like, I'm not doing none of that crazy. I'm going to literally leave in the middle of the night like a thief in the night. I'm telling you, you're going to come home one day and think everything is goddamn good, and my is going to be gone.
I don't believe that. Ain't nothing. I get paid. You see what I'm saying? That podcast, me and Keisha get paid to do that podcast. We were having a discussion. That don't mean nothing. That podcast, that shit old. I said that shit goddamn 2-3 almost a month ago. That shit old as fuck. I asked her a question. She answered the question. She said she not going for it. Everybody know Keisha's a real raw. She not going for it. Keisha bigger than me. You think I'm finna fight with Keisha? Let's be real. Keisha is bigger than me. Keisha punched me one time. I'm a skinny nigga, bro. I'm not fighting with that girl, bro. I ain't finna cheat on that girl, but that girl might knock me out. So to avoid damage to myself, How about I just do right? How about that? I just do right. I don't even have no problems. So just for me to just keep everything smooth, I just keep it real smooth. I don't do no cheating. I don't play with my girl like that. Cause she might goddamn beat my but I ain't got time. Cause get what? I'm too cool. I ain't one of them all that. I'm like real chill. She get the bam. I'm gonna be like, what the
Flabbergasted is the word I'm going to use. That's the word of the day. So y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about that video. Tim, do you want to start? Like your face. What's up with your face, Tim?
I was floored by all of this BS. First of all, if it's something that you wouldn't even do, why would you even put it out there as a soundbite? That's what's pissing me off too. If you talk coming back because you only saying it because you got a lot of backlash about it, so now you want to come on live and say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. She would beat my, okay." You shouldn't have said it in the first place and that's the problem with social media. You don't know what's real and you don't know what's fake. And just the fact that they out there for sound bites, like she was a buck and said, listen, this is what it is. Like if you cheat, I'm out of there like a thief in the night, And so I think he did it before, because even further down in the clip, she was like, I mean, did you do it? Have you done it before? And he kind of gave like a blanket yes, like no. He gave a blanket no, but you can kind of tell he just looked kind of like he probably would do that. I'm sorry to say that. The fact that you even got to put it out there and be cocky and arrogant and just so insensitive to say I'll cheat on you and you ain't going nowhere because I didn't put too much money into you. Yo, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like the stupidest thing, that spending money ain't got nothing to do with it. If her moral code says you cheat on me, I'm out. That's it. Simple as that. It doesn't matter how much money you spent. Doesn't matter how long you've been in a relationship. It doesn't matter about nothing. If that's your deal breaker, that's the deal breaker. And even biblically, that's a deal breaker. And so everything he said was so stupid. And then coming on saying, "Oh no, I wouldn't do that. She would do this to me," and I just can't. I'm just not even understanding this. Not even understanding it. What you think?
One thing my therapist told me: if somebody give you a crazy hypothetical, they've already done it. That's what my therapist told me. 9 times out of 10, if they give you a crazy hypothetical and it's disrespectful to your relationship, they've already done it. They're just trying to figure out, they were to be honest, how you're going to react to what they did. So for me, I personally think he's already done it. And the other aspect of what I didn't like was that second video where he came back after he got the backlash. Like, oh, I didn't cheat on my girl. I didn't cheat on my girl. Because if I would have cheated on she's bigger than me. He didn't. She's bigger than you. You didn't cheat on.
So what if she was smaller than you? You would have done it. I mean,
like,
how much sense does that make?
Nah, I didn't cheat on my girl because I value our relationship.
He didn't say anything like that. He just said
basically, she punched me in the chest one time.
That's the reason why you don't want to cheat, because she's bigger than you, and because she's crazy and she would torch your tail. No,
that was the reason.
Listen, that has nothing.
It's crazy, crazy. The appropriate response. Yeah, that man. He didn't say I respect my relationship. He didn't say I love her. That's something I would never do. He didn't say that. He said she's bigger than me.
Right.
So there we have it, folks. Go ahead, ladies. Gain some weight. They won't cheat. They won't cheat. If you bigger than them, they ain't gonna cheat on you, girl.
Nah. First of all, I wouldn't do that to my wife just because of all the reasons. I love her. I care for her. I just would never want to hurt her in that way. But don't get it twisted. She's not bigger than me, but I already know. Some shots will get fired. I ain't even going down that path. Not thinking about that path. Because I love my life too much. I love my life too much. Why in the heck would you even want to risk it? And I even said something the other night too. Men get tempted. We as men, not all of us, but we get tempted. And you gotta have
Everybody
people in
gets,
your
yeah.
corner. You gotta have people in your corner that's gonna be the anti-venom to whatever poisonous thoughts that you have going on. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure his circle of men, just based on that comment alone, are not looking out for that relationship, that young lady in that aspect. They probably would be, woman walk past and she looking right. They probably would be encouraging him to have that conversation with the woman and just seeing what's going on from that aspect. And then who knows what may happen. So I don't see that brother having the right people in his corner in the first place.
I agree. And John, I've been reading your comments. Look, I completely agree. He has to be pretty arrogant to say something like that in front of the world about his girl. And then and now he coming back trying to act like, oh, I would never do anything. Like, why would you say it? Like, you just gonna think of something off the wall to say to your girl about you. You would never cheat on me. No, you. I mean, you wouldn't leave me if I cheat. You wouldn't leave me. No, you wouldn't. No, of course. No. I bought you that Chanel bag. Like, what?
Man, I done heard some crazy stuff with
Arrogance.
women.
And this is why the world is the way it is.
I done heard some crazy. This is what makes me even fearful of cheating, especially in this day and age. You have women now that you gonna cheat? Okay. And I've heard crazy stories where it's been like, okay, that person cheated, right? I'll never forget someone told me that the guy ended up cheating on her. And then what she did was she turned around and slept with the guy's father. Cheated on her with the guy's father. And I was like, yo, are you kidding me? Literally came to the barbecue with the dude's pops. That blew my mind.
What?
Yeah, like for real. Yeah, like seriously, that was the craziest thing. One of the craziest things I heard. I was like, dang. And so we think that we hurting the woman, but what if it happened to us? And then they don't get even. They don't play fair. They gonna get even, but they gonna really make you hurt. And that would be some stuff that I just could. Man, I'd be on suicide watch. I'll be honest. I could not handle that.
Notice I got quiet. I was just like, I don't understand why people cheat when they know people could cheat back. I don't know why people cheat with a whole show out there called Snapped either. I don't makes no never mind to me, but it is what it is.
I don't even have a Snap, so I don't even know.
Snap, John, I agree. They could have been doing this for publicity. They could have been doing it to get more, the viewership. Just like, shoot, I might do something next show, Tim. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I might say something.
I agree with John Anthony. A lot of shows are staged, pre-rehearsed to draw more viewers. If you in this game to get a whole bunch of likes and you just want sound bites, you in it for the wrong reasons. That's my opinion.
I might be in it for the wrong reasons because next week, stay tuned, guys.
Oh, gosh.
All right, look, that's all you ain't gonna say. You gonna stop me or nothing?
I'm not saying I am not saying anything.
He's like, you're on your own. I'm gonna pray for you when we get off of this thing.
I'm praying. I'm definitely praying.
That's all the topics we had today. Please pray for my video. Pray for everything that's going on over there.
What's your final thoughts tonight, Ms. Tam?
Final thoughts for tonight. I want to say, if you're not cheating, don't say hypotheticals to your mate. Okay, that's very toxic of you. Okay, I'm gonna start there. If you are separating from your relation, if you're married, don't open the doors of the church. You can open a window, just let a breeze in, but don't let any legs, hips, and bodies in that house. Okay, you understand me? Don't do that. Okay. Next thing I want to say is, Black man, I love you. I appreciate you. You are amazing. You are phenomenal. When you know who you are capable of shifting the atmosphere, and women have no choice but to follow you. But when you don't, you leave the world in chaos, and the world is in chaos. Okay. So I'm hoping that not just Black men, but all men, that you guys find your identity and your purpose and you walk in it, so we can follow you as you walk towards that. And thank you guys for look, I feel like there's another topic, but I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. What are your final thoughts, Tim?
I don't have any thoughts. I gave it all to you. Nah, I'm just kidding.
You thought?
Nah, I second everything you said, sis. We have to definitely take up our rightful place as men. We have to definitely be more masculine, because our world is in chaos, like you said, and there's too many women that's taking up the mantle of having to play multiple roles that they just shouldn't have to play. Stop watching these podcasts where they all just are just in it for sound bites. They're just in it for the likes and the viewership, but they're not really speaking on anything of substance, because there's really not even of substance. How much sense does that make? And so I don't really appreciate that. But and then just overall, relationship wise, if you're in a dating game, date with intentionality. Definitely date with intentionality. And then just lastly, with the whole Bill de Blasio and his wife situation, I just pray that you guys will raise your kids the right way. And if you want to step out of your marriage and do your own thing, just go ahead and do it, and just do it amicably, so that you don't damage your kids. So that's really all I had as far as that. Just definitely excited about what will come next. So that's really it. Uh-oh.
Awesome. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to Tim and Tam Talks. We'll be here every Monday, Central Standard Time, 7:30, Tuesdays, 8:30 Central Standard Time, with so much to talk about on the back pew. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, go ahead and click follow, subscribe, depending on where you're watching from: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTokers. We're new TikTokers, so you guys are watching, definitely follow us, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, y'all.
My wife and I first started dating. She bought me some flowers.
She romanced you.
She romanced me.
Got it.
Is it weird to you? I mean, I'm still kind of trying to get comfortable with it.
Did she hold the door for you?
Yo, no, we're not.
I can see a pedicure.
Would you?
Depends on his feet.
That could be Mara's feet, and you can do it.
No way, you about to be cutting up my hands.
Yo, what's going on? This is
The Tim and Tam Talks. All right, look, bring it home. Let's get into this.
We're gonna have a lot of great conversations.